Monday Night Football was supposed to be the Buffalo Bills' moment to shine, a chance to prove themselves under the bright lights and in front of a national audience. The energy in the stadium was electric, with fans waving flags and chanting, hoping to witness a statement win that would solidify the Bills as true contenders this season. The players took the field with confidence, their eyes set on victory, and the city of Buffalo was buzzing with anticipation. But as the game unfolded, it turned into a tale of struggle and missed opportunities. The Bills, who had been riding high on recent successes, suddenly found themselves out of sync. Drives stalled, passes fell incomplete, and frustration began to show on the faces of players and coaches alike. Every mistake seemed to weigh heavier as the minutes ticked by. The Atlanta Falcons, meanwhile, seized every opportunity. They played with intensity and focus, capitalizing on the Bills' errors and turning them into points. By the end of the night, the Falcons emerged victorious, 24-14, having outplayed the Bills in nearly every phase of the game. The final whistle left Bills fans in disbelief. Many sat in stunned silence, unable to process how quickly hope had turned to heartbreak. The stadium, once roaring with excitement, grew quiet as the reality of defeat set in. Quarterback Josh Allen and coach Sean McDermott wore the weight of an unexpected loss, their faces etched with disappointment. For a team with championship aspirations, this was a sobering reminder that nothing comes easy in the NFL. The pressure to perform is relentless, and every game is a test of resilience. In the aftermath, the Bills gathered for a somber team huddle. Players sat quietly on the bench, reflecting on what went wrong and what needed to change. It was a wake-up call for a team that had been dreaming big, a moment to regroup and refocus. The locker room was silent, the air heavy with disappointment. No words could erase the sting of defeat, and each player was left to process the loss in their own way. For some, it was a moment of introspection. For others, a source of motivation to come back stronger. As fans filed out of the stadium, their faces told the story, somber, contemplative, and searching for answers. The Falcons had dominated early, jumping out to a commanding 21-7 lead by halftime. The Bills' offense, usually so dynamic, faltered under pressure, unable to find its rhythm. Penalties and turnovers plagued the Bills throughout the night. Costly mistakes at crucial moments killed drives and handed momentum to the Falcons. Each misstep felt like another nail in the coffin, making a comeback seem more and more unlikely. A late interception by Josh Allen sealed their fate, extinguishing any hope of a last-minute rally. The Falcons' defense celebrated, knowing they had delivered the final blow. In the aftermath, sports analysts questioned the Bills' direction. Was this just a bad night, or a sign of deeper issues? The loss raised concerns about the team's consistency and ability to handle adversity when the stakes are high. Now, the path forward demands honest reflection and hard work. The Bills must regroup, learn from their mistakes, and recommit to their goals. The season is far from over, but the road ahead will test their character and resolve like never before. 2 consecutive losses have sent shockwaves through the Buffalo Bills organization and their passionate fan base. The mood has shifted dramatically, from the optimism of early season victories to the sobering reality of back-to-back defeats. Each loss has not only impacted the team's record, but also their confidence and momentum as they navigate a challenging stretch of the season. The frustration is palpable, both on the field and in the stands. Fans who once cheered with unwavering faith now watch with anxious eyes, hoping for a turnaround. The players, too, are feeling the weight of expectations, knowing that every mistake is magnified as the stakes grow higher. Once comfortably leading the AFC East, the Bills now find themselves in a deadlock with the New England Patriots. The Patriots, surging with momentum, have claimed the tiebreaker, putting even more pressure on Buffalo to perform. The division, which once seemed firmly in their grasp, is now a battleground where every game could tip the balance. The AFC East race has become a high-stakes contest, with little room for error. Every snap, every drive, and every decision is magnified. The margin for error has shrunk to almost nothing, and the pressure is mounting with each passing week. Coach Sean McDermott faces one of the toughest challenges of his tenure. He must rally his team, instill confidence, and keep the locker room united. The risk of a bigger crisis looms if the team can't regroup quickly. Leadership, both on and off the field, is more important now than ever. The Bills have been here before. In past seasons, they've faced adversity and found ways to bounce back, drawing on their resilience and team spirit. those experiences have forged a team that knows how to respond when their backs are against the wall. Leaders like quarterback Josh Allen and wide receiver Stephon Diggs are crucial in these moments. They set the tone for the rest of the team, showing what it takes to overcome slumps and reminding everyone of the goals they set at the start of the year. Their leadership will be tested as they try to spark a turnaround. Meanwhile, the rest of the AFC isn't waiting for the Bills to recover. Rival teams are seizing every opportunity, making the playoff race even more competitive. The window for error is closing, and the Bills must keep pace or risk falling behind. Every loss now carries extra weight, complicating their path to the playoffs. The margin for error is razor thin, and the pressure to win is at an all-time high. Each defeat not only affects their record, but also their seeding and potential home field advantage. The Bills have lost the cushion they once enjoyed. Now every game feels like a must-win, with little room for missteps. The intensity is palpable, and the team knows that their season could hinge on the outcome of each remaining contest. The true character of this team will be revealed in the coming weeks. As they strive to reclaim their division lead, every player and coach will be tested. How they respond to this adversity will define their season and could shape the franchise for years to come. The Bills' championship aspirations hang in the balance. The journey ahead is daunting, but the opportunity to rise above adversity and make history is still within reach. The next few games will determine whether this team can fulfill its promise and bring glory back to Buffalo. The Bills' offensive struggles are baffling. Once unstoppable, they've scored only 34 points in 2 games. Against the Falcons, they managed just 14 points. The offensive line faltered, leaving Josh Allen under constant pressure. Turnovers were costly, with Allen throwing 2 interceptions. These mistakes gave the Falcons momentum. In critical moments, the offense couldn't deliver. The inability to execute when it mattered most was disappointing. The problems run deep and need immediate attention. The Bills must address these issues to start winning again. On a night when the Buffalo Bills desperately needed their star quarterback to shine, Josh Allen found himself at the center of a storm. The weight of expectations was heavy, and as the game unfolded, it became clear that this would be one of the most challenging outings of his career. Allen's visible frustration on the sideline told the story of a player who knew he wasn't meeting his own high standards, and the team's struggles seemed to mirror his own. Throughout the game, Allen was under constant duress. He threw 2 costly interceptions, each one shifting momentum away from the Bills and giving the Falcons renewed energy. The Atlanta defense swarmed him, sacking him 4 times and never allowing him to settle into a rhythm. Every time Allen tried to make something happen, the pressure seemed to close in, forcing mistakes that proved costly. The numbers told a grim story. Allen's QBR plummeted to a season-low 18.7, a stark contrast to the high standards he set for himself and the expectations of Bills fans. Commentators and analysts alike were left searching for answers as to what went wrong for one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks. Part of the problem was Allen's trademark creativity, which on this night led him into trouble. He held onto the ball too long, trying to make plays that simply weren't there. Instead of taking the safe option, he forced throws into tight coverage, resulting in turnovers and missed opportunities. It was a night where his greatest strengths became liabilities. Credit must go to the Falcons' defense, who executed a brilliant game plan. They brought relentless pressure, mixing up their coverages and blitzes to keep Allen guessing. Every snap was a battle, and the Falcons' defenders seemed to anticipate his every move, making life incredibly difficult for the Bills' offense. After the game, Allen faced the media with honesty and humility. He admitted that he needed to adjust better to what the defense was showing him, acknowledging that his decision-making had to improve. It was a moment of accountability, as he took responsibility for the team's struggles and vowed to learn from the experience. This game marked the 3rd consecutive outing in which Allen threw an interception, a worrying trend for a quarterback known for his playmaking ability. Each turnover not only hurt the team's chances, but also seemed to chip away at Allen's confidence, raising questions about how he would respond moving forward. The frustration was written all over Allen's face as he sat on the sideline, replaying mistakes in his mind. But as difficult as this night was, he knows he can't let it linger. The NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint, and the best players find ways to bounce back from adversity. Now, the challenge for Allen is to learn from this game. He'll need to study the film, work with his coaches, and get back to the fundamentals that made him successful. Focused practice and a renewed commitment to smart, decisive play will be key as he looks to regain his form. For the Bills, overcoming this adversity will require a collective effort. The team must rally around their quarterback, support each other, and use this setback as motivation to come back stronger. Every great team faces tough moments, and how they respond defines their season. Ultimately, it's Allen's response that will define his leadership and resilience. The true test of a quarterback isn't how he handles success, but how he responds to nights like this. For Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, the next chapter is all about redemption, growth, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Credit goes to the Atlanta Falcons for their near-perfect game. Their victory was built on a dominant performance by Bijan Robinson and a relentless defense. Robinson was unstoppable, gaining 238 yards from scrimmage. His 81-yard touchdown run was a highlight. The Falcons' defense disrupted Josh Allen, pressuring him on 44% of dropbacks. They mixed coverages, creating confusion and turnovers. This win was a statement for the Falcons, proving they can compete with the best. Robinson and London shone on the primetime stage. The Falcons played with confidence and swagger. They earned their celebration with a signature win. The Bills' loss was marred by mistakes. Penalties, turnovers, and injuries played significant roles. The team has been flagged 30 times in 3 weeks. Penalties stalled drives and shifted momentum. Injuries to key players like Dalton Kincaid and Joshua Palmer added to the woes. The defense struggled due to offensive turnovers. The offense couldn't find rhythm due to penalties. It was a team-wide failure to execute. Good teams overcome adversity, but the Bills created too much for themselves. They must clean up these issues to succeed. After the loss, Coach McDermott called for major changes. He emphasized starting from ground zero, re-evaluating every aspect. This includes plays, techniques, and player positions. McDermott's strong stance sends a message of accountability. The team must avoid doubt and frustration. McDermott leads by example, putting himself and his staff under scrutiny. Starting from ground zero requires honest self-assessment. It's about identifying problems and working relentlessly to solve them. McDermott has set the tone for the team's response. The team must follow his lead to climb back to their standard. Josh Allen took responsibility for the loss. He acknowledged his poor performance and its impact on the team. Allen's accountability shows his leadership. He didn't blame others, focusing on himself. His words protect teammates from criticism. Allen's competitive fire drives him to improve. He'll use the bye week to study and learn from mistakes. This moment defines Allen's leadership and resilience. He is committed to fixing the problems. Fans can have confidence in his response. Allen faces the challenge head-on, ready to get back on track. The bye week offers the Bills a chance to reset. It's a time for players to heal and coaches to strategize. Health is a priority, with key players needing recovery. Coaches will analyze film and develop new plans. The schedule ahead is tough, with challenging opponents. The bye week is crucial for fixing issues. The team needs renewed focus and a clear offensive identity. This week is about finding answers and preparing for the fight. The challenges are significant, but the opportunity is there. The Bills must regroup and save their season.